Hello guys, welcome back to another Lambeth Made episode. We are here with
Juan.
And I'm Tyra, and today we have a special guest, Yazmin Belo. Would you introduce yourself, Yasmin?
Hey, I'm Yazmin Belo. I'm an actress from South London. I'm half Nigerian, half Jamaican. Very similar countries, despite being from two different places. I think there's so much similarities between the both.
Yeah.
So saying the difference between, anyway. So, and I'm really excited to be here and just to kind of get stuck in.
Really appreciate your time coming in here, Yazmin. Would it be possible if you can just give us a rundown of your journey, how you got to where you are right now?
Sure. This is the first, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very special moment. So if we're talking about what I do now for work, I'm an actress,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm an actor. And so there's just no one route. I went to drama school, I went to vocational, I went to Stagecoach. It started out from young, but I do thank my God for my parents.
Yeah.
Because they, it was something that I think it's the only thing I've been consistent with when I think about like how inevitable progression has to be, because it's the only thing that I've stuck at.
Mm-hmm.
So, went to Stagecoach. That was like my first kind of opening of knowing that this is what I wanted to do. Stagecoach was like a Saturday school specifically for the arts. Prior to that, I guess, actually, let's start from like church. Whenever there was a moment to go up, whether it was like a nativity play or like Mother's Day where you could go up and sing their praises, most kids would go up and probably just talk about their parents for 5 minutes, and I'd be like, hi, see. So I think whenever there was a moment for me to kind of
To shine.
low key, but also like at 8, you're not thinking about clout. You're thinking about, I really enjoy
Expressing,
I really enjoy singing. I really enjoy dancing. I really enjoy storytelling. So I think as you get older and you become more self-aware, there is that element of like, hello. But I've really enjoyed. And so church and then Stagecoach was like confirmation. And I was slightly older. I think I was about 10 when I attended Stagecoach. So that was like Monday to Tuesday was school, probably doing something creative within school. But knowing Saturday was there was just like a pep in my step from the night before, knowing that, okay, cool, Stagecoach is on Saturday. And just enjoying it. And so Stagecoach covered everything. It was the fundamentals. It was singing, acting, dancing. And then at the end of every term, we put on like a FMP, like a final major project where parents would come down and watch what you've been doing. So that was that. And that was for a good solid 5 years. And then from there, it was just like a no-brainer. It was like, this is what I want to do. So got to the Brit School, did that. And then went out, actually, I didn't go to university straight away. Went out and explored my options and because I thought I wanted to finish training. And I think for a long time, I used training as like a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went back to school for a bit to be like, okay, cool. There's some more refining and honing that can happen here. And then I just kind of got out there. I got representation. In the year of 2022, I made my stage debut at the Birmingham Rep, which is like Birmingham's biggest theatre. And I was in a show called Coming to England, which was written by Floella. And it was just about her story on migrating from Trinidad over to England with her siblings and what that looked like, and the adversity, but then the joys of sort of moving, what they had to face. And then funny enough, a few months later in the year, same year of 2022, or August, I booked my TV debut, Three Little Birds, written by Lenny Henry. Very, very similar story. Windrush, and what that looked like back in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just two of a kind. And then since then, it's just been loads of auditions and just loads of no's, which is just like, I knew Wagwan. I knew what I was getting into, mate. But in that has been just wonderful connections that have been made. I've watched 6 plays. I've seen the progression of my brethren that I'm really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's yeah, it feels like it's very much the beginning of my journey, but also like I've in the last kind of couple of years, I've learned so much. More so about self as well. I've just gone off on a tangent. So you've got to like cut me when I do that.
Yeah, no, you covered.
You've got to cut me when I do that. So yes, so that's how it's been. It's been from young. I didn't get into this when I was like 25. I've been doing it, and it's only now in my sort of latter 20s I'm starting to kind of reap some sort of benefit. So yeah.
Wow.
So it go. That's how it goes, isn't it?
What was it like playing Hosanna Drake and the Three Little Birds and being able to represent your Jamaican and Nigerian culture?
Yeah. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, there's so many similarities in the two countries.
Yeah.
I think they're both really proud people. I think they're both extremely influential. You've got like Portuguese people singing Asake songs. Like it's just two very big countries. And I think with that, there is so many similarities, despite one being from the Caribbean, one being a country in Africa. So didn't get to explore my Nigerian side too tough in Three Little Birds because it was about Windrush. And it was about the sort of Caribbeans coming over and finding their way in the 50s. But it was so nice to kind of hold on to Hosanna and explore her because of how familiar the character was. So although I wasn't here in the 50s and I don't have I didn't go through a smidge of adversity and hardship back then, like, yeah, facing that, I just think there was just so much homage that I got to kind of relive because, yeah, I think my lineage is just so powerful.
Yeah.
And so because of that, and because the writing was so sick and it was fueled by a really strong production, it was on, it was mainstream, it was on ITV. All the ingredients were there for it to just exist and live and for me to kind of just do what I needed to do as an actress. But it was wonderful. And Hosanna as a character is just so familiar.
Yeah.
Like she's my auntie, she's my cousin, she's my mom, she's my sisters. So it was really nice to tap into it. And a really wicked first character to tap into because of, I didn't really have to do much without me guessing it and being like, I had to go away for years and hone in the inner, self. It was just proper.
Natural to channel.
It was natural to channel. She was familiar. I've definitely met a Hosanna Drake in my time.
Yeah.
And then once the costume's on, we had a wicked dialect coach that was on board with us to kind of help us with our patois because the Jamaican dialect was different then. And Hosanna Drake was a country girl. She was from Clarendon.
Can you give us a little example?
So Hosanna Drake is here.
Okay.
She is soft and she is nice. She doesn't talk as fast as Yasmin. And it's not too rough because she's from Clarendon. Nothing about Jamaica is rough. There's nothing rough about Jamaica, but she's here. And she's also a pastor's first child. So there is an air of grace and pride about her. Whereas, so that's her, so let's say goodbye to her, she's gone. But there is whereas the other two girls, because it was called Three Little Birds, they were from a completely different part. They enjoyed partying. There was a different sort of side of them. So it was really nice when we all came together and our characters kind of merged. So, yes.
That was really impressive.
Thank you.
So you've lived Lambeth throughout your life, right?
Yeah, or South London.
South London.
Yeah.
Okay. So living around South London, how do you think has influenced your journey as an actor and a creative?
Yeah. First of all, when people say, oh, South London's not a personality trait, it very much is. Very, very proud to be a South Londoner. And I think most people are. I've not come across a timid or shy South Londoner. I think we tend to be like, this is where we're from. And I think that's because of how much character walk along these streets.
Yeah.
You could be in Brixton, you could be in Streatham, you could be in Croydon, which a lot of people don't classify as South. That's more my way. It is South. It is in Surrey. Do you know what I mean? You could be in Tulse Hill where we are now. You can be on the sort of the outer parts, Kennington, Oval. There is just so much character and history.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And because of that, whether it's sort of like me waking up at 6 a.m. to go to like a morning shift somewhere or coming back after a night shift and just sort of people watching and exploring the streets and seeing the nitty down the road just sort of asking you to buy him something and then he doesn't want it anymore because it's 50p, but he wanted the £1 chocolate.
Yeah.
Right. That's cheeky, innit?
Very.
And then, you know, the mother of 5 that's sort of struggling to get the 5 kids on the bus and one of them's just about to stray. But because there's such a community in where we're from, I see the little boy run off,
you're gonna
mum. You know, there's that. And she's not going to look at me and shun me. It's more going to be like, safe. I see you.
Yeah.
And just how diverse and eclectic South London is. There are just so many different homes in one pocket of a borough. And I just think it's really cool. And so I think like when it comes to storytelling, I got a lot of my inspiration from just like my area.
Yeah.
I'm really, really interested in sort of like writing and can't wait for that sort of part of my life to kind of flourish as well. But I just know that a lot of the storytelling that I'm going to be telling will come from a place of truth, which will be South London for sure.
Yeah.
And whether it's like I'm abstract with it and I don't go into detail and I call the place, you know, Imaginaria, but really and truly I'm talking about Fulton Heath. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I just think it's such a wonderful place. And when you fully embrace it, it's just nothing really to be shocked or frightened of. It's just, because of course, wits about you for real. Do you know what I mean? People are going through stuff and there are different types of people around. But also, because of how long I've been here and the fact that I'm a South Londoner through and through, there's just like a different embrace and love. And when I go away for work and I travel in and I come back, or if I'm on holiday and I come back, other than the fact that England's cold, there is something about like, you know, I'm home.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it shapes everything about the way I storytell and the way I communicate and connect with other humans. I reckon if I was from anywhere else, it'd be a different kind of experience when talking to Yasmin. So yeah, that's that.
I really love the way you like looked at South London in a different perspective opposed to just the narrative that I say like social media puts on it, because you don't really see someone, or like I feel like people hasn't really experienced as much as they've seen that's being portrayed on the social media to how South London is. And sometimes people try to neglect that part or just not so take it on as their personality or attach themselves to it because it's got such a negative impact. And really and truly, we are a product of our environment. So I really appreciate the way you actually you embraced it as opposed to actually just trying to, you know, make it look a different way. And I feel like that's something that the youth is struggling with right now, is just being not knowing how to represent themselves. And I love how you mentioned that you had a good support system when you was younger to help you get to where you are. So what advice or would you give Lambeth to help facilitate the youth that don't know how to embrace themselves or feel like they don't know, or they probably don't have the support that you had to get into the position that you are today?
For sure. Yeah, I'm aware, first of all, like I speak from such a place of privilege because of the household in which I came from. So I've got to be mindful that there are people that come from different spaces and places that didn't have the upbringing that I have. But what I will say is there's community and there's home in very different places.
Yeah.
So where I had my biological parents to kind of aid me, and family members and uncles and godfathers and aunties to kind of aid this process, and I've only really just started, despite me sort of doing it since the beginning of time. For young people, for middle-aged people, for older people that are trying to access any form of improvement or progression, find your community, find your people, and it doesn't necessarily always look like your family. It doesn't always necessarily look like people that are closest to you. So it's like, okay, then how do we have access, or how do we find access?
Yeah.
I think what you guys are doing now is sick. I think it's putting people on the map that need to be like, yeah, I hope I'm not going off on a tangent.
No, yeah.
I think to answer your question, I think it's like people need to find their, what's the word? because I don't want to call it tribe, because tribe feels quite like personified, or it feels kind of like tangible stuff.
Yeah.
It might not even be a person. It might be a place. It might be a thing, something that gives you solace and that allows you to understand that actually I can access the next step.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not too like elusive and like abstract, but find that thing that's going to allow you to get to the next step. So for me, that was having that support of my family that now gave me the initial confidence to be like, all right, cool. I've got to do this thing for myself. But for someone else, that might look like sort of a library, or that might look like really investing in their health. So, you know, gymming and stuff like that. It's what is that thing that gets you to the next step? And being from South London, or being from an environment that might have not given you the start that you wanted, has nothing to do with the next steps. So just finding that thing.
Something that represents you, basically.
For sure.
I feel like Act On It is probably one of the answers I was actually looking for. I feel like you're actually putting in place for people in the creative industry, or youth who's actually trying to get into that place. And even you mentioning that you came from quite a beneficial background, I think is really empowering that you're still taking, even though you had it a bit easier than other people, you're still taking the initiative to help other people that's in a position that you didn't have to be. So how do you see Act On in the future? Act On It.
Okay, so Act On It is a mentoring program that it's a Act On It. Act On It is a mentoring initiative aiding, and not specifically just young people, but anyone that wants to get into the creative field. It's just gives them sort of guidelines and a support system, ultimately just giving them access to stuff that they may not have access to, whether it's sort of online passwords for plays online that you can only really get depending on if you're signed up to like a program, or if you're playing like a membership.
Yeah.
It's one-to-one support on sort of, you know, if you've got auditions coming up, there's a community of people that you can share your work with and we can give feedback. It's getting into drama school. It's just that kind of moral support that I had back in the day, but I never really put a name to it. So I had older actresses that are doing brilliant stuff now, and older actors, and that I would be able to kind of text or call up and have a coffee with, and they'd give me so much gems that allowed me to now progress to the next step. And because I didn't call them like a mentor or a life coach, but that's exactly what they were at the time. Yeah. So, and I just don't think there's enough of it. And I think it comes at an expense. I think it comes at like a really crazy expense, whether it's like paying a certain amount to kind of get certain sort of informations, or going to workshops, which are very crucial for progression. I do believe in acting workshops. I do believe in constantly training. I think Act On It provides a space for people to have that kind of push into the next steps. Because a lot of it is self. You have to do it for yourself. But if there's that access and that aid for you to kind of progress, that's what I think Act On It is, without being too elusive.
Yeah, read up that.
Talking about what you were saying before about the finding your thing, I just wanted to ask, why do you think representation is so important, especially like for young people in unrepresented communities?
Because I think if you see someone that looks like you doing something, it's like a no-brainer. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, cool, so I can do it. I think if a cat starts to cartwheel and then the baby kitten comes in and sees the cat cartwheel,
he's going to try it too.
He's like, maybe I could try a little thing. My mum's doing backflips right now. This is mad. So like, and I think that's just a really bad analogy that I just used, but I think it's more, if there's more, if you see yourself doing that thing, and I say yourself, and we know that it's not yourself, it's a version of, so maybe it's another South Londoner, maybe it's another black woman, maybe it's another person that has a similar upbringing and story to you. If you see them doing that thing that you're aspiring to do, it just gives you a different kind of zeal and zest to want to actually achieve it. And so that is why I think representation is important. it gives just a sector of people that are underrepresented, and that are kind of like low-key known as the underdogs, which isn't the truth. It just gives them that kind of like reminder almost, like, hello, you won't be the last, so just, and you certainly aren't the first, so let's just try and do it. Yeah.
What's the biggest challenges you faced being in the creative industry?
It's not really having bread most of the time, or just having to hustle.
Yeah.
And like, I say that, and life and death is in the power of the tongue. So like, I've got lots of money rolling in it. I think it's more like most actors are innate hustlers.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's kind of cool about us, because until you become the 1% and you're constantly working and you've got brand deals with like Lancome and Gucci, there is that element of, okay, so how do I keep this thing alive?
Yeah.
And so everything I do is to fuel my acting career. So the bar jobs and the front of house jobs that I do and the nannying from time to time, the first sort of 500, 600, 700 pound I make, I'm thinking about, I've got to get new headshots. Or, I've got to make sure my showreel and my online profile is up to date. Our casting director seeing me in the best light. These are all things. So the challenge doesn't even come from the amount of no's you get. It's the kind of hustle that happens that no one really sees. So I would say that's a huge challenge. There's loads of challenges. That's a huge challenge, the hustle, because sometimes you want to breathe and you don't want to have to constantly hustle. But the hustle is always the hustle until it's no longer a hustle too tough.
Yeah.
And then there's of the rejection that gets easier. I think the first no I received, I was in sort of like the bathroom stalls, just like sobbing, and I called my best mate at the time, and she was like, "Yeah, but you just got to keep on going, because what else are you going to do?" You know what I mean? So there's, and then without getting too political, just kind of like the injustices that happen within my industry. That happens globally, but yeah, there is just so many things that aren't really fair. But I would say right now, what I'm finding quite challenging is that hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you find your balance between it? As you mentioned, you do like the nannying, the bar job. How do you find your balance? Or is it just a matter of just what works at the time?
Yeah. Balance is in how though? What do you mean? Like,
for instance, just keeping, I feel like more so a personality as well. So being able to like hustle and then still enjoy what you do. How do you find the balance with actually having your priorities and still making sure you keep what your passion is alive?
Having like really solid friends that are
that's
probably
important.
that are probably not even in the same field as you, because then they're just going to remind you that life goes on.
Yeah.
I've got a dear friend that's a nurse. I've got a friend that's an estate agent. I've got sort of 9-to-5 friends. And then I've got like a ton of creative friends that I hold dear to me as well. But there's something about being sort of taken away from that world and just reminded that actually there's just so much life to live.
Yeah.
So that's a nice balance. And having just a great support system as well, like, it's just so integral, because there are going to be moments where you feel like you want to slumber or pause for a bit, and you can't really do that in this industry. Of course, mental health is crucial. How you're feeling about self, life happens. So if there are moments in time where you actually have to pause, it's very important that you do pause.
You do, yeah.
In between that time, what I think has helped me is my support system, are my mates, are things that aren't necessarily connected to my industry at all. So that's been a nice balance. And tapping into that more times than none. Tapping into that world more than often.
Yeah.
More than often? Tapping into that world more.
More, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
How can local organizations and like community leaders better support aspiring creatives just like yourself?
It's like, give us money to do stuff.
Give us money.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. let me come to your school and talk to your children, like talk to your students. I've got a lot to say. I think I'm really, really qualified to talk about the things that I talk about. And then let us come in and inspire the youth and then pay us. Whilst we're not acting, I think it's important to kind of talk about that element. I think you're going to see and you're going to be able to funnel out the bad eggs from the good. So there are going to be people that are doing this for the wrong reasons. But there's like a handful of us that are really excited about being creatives.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I want to do. I would love to storytell and tell stories for the rest of my life. And so, yeah, I think in the meantime, and until there is that kind of element of your career skyrocketing or whatever that looks like, I think it's really important to kind of to tug at your localers, to kind of allow us to be in schools, to have talks, to have fun days where we're or funding days. Is that still a thing where you want, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're trying to raise for a certain amount. Bring us in. But at a cost, you know? So yeah, I think, did that answer your question?
Yeah, very much did, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, talking about like aspiring creatives, what's one piece of advice you would give to them?
Find something lucrative enough away from the industry to make sure it fuels. Because there's a lot of investment that needs to be done when becoming an actor. And so trying to come into it with no sort of lucrative background or like, finding something, whether it's a 9 to 5 or and it doesn't even need to be anything strenuous. Basically having enough money to be able to get you to the next step. And I know I'm talking about money a lot, but like I told you, like in order to be taken seriously, you need headshots. You need an online profile. It's called Spotlight. Spotlight is the main one. But there are loads of different kind of baby companies, like sort of Mandy, Casting Call Pro. I don't think that's a thing anymore. But Spotlight is like what most actors have, and it's our online portfolio. It just means that someone can type in a code, 967, Yazmin Belo's profile comes up, or she'll be sick for that James Bond movie. Yeah. Jesus, Lord, let it be a thing. But do you know what I mean? So I think, but before that comes, in order to be on that profile, you've got to pay a monthly fee, or you can pay yearly. You have to have bread in order to start this thing. Yeah. And so I think it would be a disservice and unrealistic to be like, just see how the wind goes and go. Because even going to workshops and acting classes, they start from about 40 quid. So there needs to be enough in your mental kind of bank account to kind of give yourself to this. Yeah. And so make sure that's full up to the brim. But your physical bank account, it's got to aid you. Yeah. So just make sure you have enough to be prepared for what comes with getting into this industry.
I really love that. Oh, thank you so much for your time, Yasmin. Really appreciate your dimes that you've dropped for us today. Is there any way we can find your social media?
Yeah, I'm really only on Instagram. Instagram is just my name. So Yazmin Belo, YAZMINBELO. And that's where you'll find everything. And then, actually, I just want to plug that one more time. Yeah. An online and in-person mentorship scheme that allows people to get that head start into the industry. Right now, we are focusing on creatives, so actors, but in the hopes to expand when the team gets sort of wider into people that want access into sort of filmmaking, writing, music industry, etc. Because I've got lots of friends that are doing really, really wonderful stuff and that are at a very good position in their lives where I think they can bestow knowledge and empower certain people that want to get into stuff. And although young people are brilliant, it's for everyone. Yeah. So if you're 50 and you want to think about what it's like to make a short film, I've got mates that are doing it at really, really high standards that can just embed some knowledge in you. Yeah. So yes, that's something that will be a lot more live-o in the next couple of months. But I'm just doing some groundwork. But in the meantime, there's been a few things that are happening, and it's very exciting and super inspiring.
It sounds it. Please do check out Act On It. Do you have an Instagram for it as well?
Yeah, I have nothing. Right.
Okay.
I gotta make sure. I have a website for it, so I guess we could do it that way. But in terms of like promotion, I want everything to be clean and pretty.
Yeah.
And I want photographers to come in and proper do the thing. So I'm not promoting anything too tough yet.
Okay.
But it is a service that is available.
That's available. Okay.
So yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much for tuning in for another Lambeth Made podcast. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you. Bye.